We're back. Exciting, never built DynaCap before? Yeah, it should be good. Bless you, daily drive a normal HHKB. I have enjoyed HHKB. I really want to buy one at some point. I just haven't. I've gotten to use, I borrowed one with an aftermarket housing from a friend for a couple weeks and really enjoyed that. I've test driven a few at meetups before, like there were a bunch at the Novel Keys meetup last year. So I do like it. Bless you. The last time, less blessed that you get for a muted sneeze. So if I just blast it full on into the mic, can I get another Nana blessing? That would be ideal. But yes, and what we are going to do is we're going to take a classic TKL from Novel Keys. And thanks to, I don't know if it's Hector VS or Hector Versus. If you've seen Hector around on Discord and other places, has written up a super helpful guide. I'll just throw it in chat. A super helpful guide that I followed to kind of get my sea legs a little bit on converting a classic TKL to EC. So let me chuck this in here. This is what I have been referencing. And so I think I did some double and triple checking. I think I have all the parts that I need, but we're going to find out for sure. So yeah, I do have a million springs here ready to go. I've only spilled them off my desk once. So I think I do, if what we said in Discord holds true, Nana, I think I do owe you $5. Because I did spill some of them before the stream. But we could deal with that at another time. Followed me because you're part of the Font Awesome theme. Big fan of Awesome. Oh, very cool. I'm so glad. I'm using one of my Font Awesome mugs right now, which has our jelly keycap set on it that I designed. Or not keycap set, icon set on it that I designed. Even made a special version of the Font Awesome flag to match. Jaburnus. Hello, Roostery. Yes, that is what they call me. Jaburnus. Maybe if you're in Minnesota, and I've been there, so I can be from that. Hey, Jaburnus, don't you know? Anyway, let's get cooking. So, the important part of, and we're going full whole hog panels today. So we got our panels mat. We're going to be putting DCS panels on our board when we're done, and it's going to be lovely. Also rocking DCS on the Pangea Mini that we built on stream not that long ago. We've got Orange on Beige in, which is very fun. Internet is a small place. It really is, honestly. Smaller than you think. So, all the different things we need to do. EC is a fair bit different than MX. Very nice EC conversion. My friend just built a heavy 9. Ooh, very nice. Why tilde mod color when tilde not mod? Because symmetry trumps color correctness, Reggie. And I enjoy keeping the extremities here mod or accent colored. Also, maybe I have this mapped to a mod you don't even know. This is the truest mod. I press this and it bans whoever chatted last in Twitch. So watch out. So all of our parts that we need. The board, of course, obviously. So we built this, have built and rebuilt this on stream before. Right now it has SA vomit on it from our grab bag extravaganza we did earlier this year. So just various SA things that I could find. Doesn't sound great. We're using I got a custom PEI plate in there, as well as, what are they? Some kind of yellow switch that I don't recall the name of that I got from Keepfront a long time ago, but, Kim! Hi, Kim! Welcome. The Chaos board. This is one of the Chaos boards. I've also got my, my June back there with DCS vomit on it right now, which is very fun. Oh no, please, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I could never ban you, Reggie. Hector, the man himself, is here. I am using all the wonderful things you wrote to figure out how to do this. Welcome, welcome. Does EC now have conversion kit to have cherry keycaps? Yes, and Hector just mentioned that. I know there's also like, what is it, MetaKeybs is also a thing. And DynaCap is MX compatible as well. Yes, it really did help. So this is the MX build we've got right now, so we'll take this apart. An important bit, of course, as well, is an electrocapacitive PCB. In this case, and I've already snapped off it has like little mouse bite things to snap off. It had an integrated port on it, but you could snap it off, which you'll need to do because this needs to connect with JST, which it does have. Even though the port is in the correct place, because of height differences of the EC stack and that the classic TKL uses a JST cable anyway, that is what we're going to do. So this is from, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Sipulot? Who's, you know, of course, big name in the EC space. I had to buy this from the UK because I could not, for love or money, I could not find his EC PCBs in stock in the United States. So I got one from the UK. I know there's going to be restocks coming and stuff, but I didn't want to wait, and it honestly wasn't that much. So we have our EC PCB ready to go. Lovely. Oh, thank you for the follow. Sipalot. Is it Sipalot? Like you've taken a lot of drinks from a cup? You sip a lot? SIP needs to restock all his EC PCBs like yesterday. Yeah, I know. I mean, there's only like 1 or 2 kinds that are in stock on Canon Keys, which I think is the main place in the US to get them at least. So we'll see. I think, isn't Clever working on some like more in-stock options? Maybe not. I haven't kept up with all of Clever stuff. On the side, we have our plate. Now this already has some housings put in because I was testing to make sure that I had gotten it cut correctly. And so far they are working as expected. So I got a brass plate custom cut by Tom over at Hype Keyboards and have already tested some of the 1U housings in here just to see. So it is an EC compatible, lovely, lovely plate for the classic TKL. So it's got all the tap holes ready to go. It's got the gasket sock slots and everything on it. We got our 2U housings and everything else ready to go. Hold on, some more people are saying stuff. Where'd you buy it from the UK? I think it was Thock Exchange, if I'm not mistaken, where I picked this up. Clever and SIP working hand in hand, got some cool stuff cooking. Very cool. Is it some of those hybrid PCBs as well? Like the MX and EC stuff? Which is rad. I'm glad you're here, Hector, because maybe you can help me if I run into problems. Although no pressure to like stick around, but it is nice to have an experienced voice here, just in case. So we got that. We got that. We have, well, let me just put this back over here for now. I have 1 million DynaCap parts down here. So I have what is essentially, this is like an extension. I got the 6065 pack and then extend like extras to fit a TKL. Bought an EC kit, steel plate, and SIP PCB made for DynaCap. Can I use them for MetaKeybs if I choose against DynaCap, or am I locked into DynaCap? I don't know much about MetaKeybs. I feel like, is MetaKeybs meant to be used with MX plates? I'm not entirely sure. Someone else may know better. So it might depend on what plate you got as to which one works. But I could be wrong. Somebody else in chat may know better than me. Hello, Silly Mellow. You can use, you can use domes from anyone, but I wasn't sure if MetaCubes was a complete solution, or is it domes only? That would be the case. Maddie's really, that's how Hobby loves Tober. Thought Exchange is UK-based, ships tariff-free to the US. Also, Maddie is the GOAT. Yeah, very cool. So I got it from there. So we have our DynaCap, 60 to 65 base. So that comes with a lot of stuff like stabilizer wires, 2U sliders and all that kind of stuff, 2U housings, more sliders. We got silencing rings and a million screws. Because there's a lot of screw points in electric capacitive boards between the plate and the PCB, because you have to have kind of consistent compression across the assembly to maintain efficacy. Gotta hand it to them, the packaging fits the price. It's nice. And I like too that it's like there isn't much plastic, like there's a couple baggies, but for the most part it's like recyclable boxes. We have a million more 1U sliders. We've got our domes down here. I went with the medium domes for this because I don't have a great baseline, so I figured middle of the road. And then we've got a bunch of housings over here. Now this is the round 2, the dry lubed black housings. So that means hopefully we can save time on some of these steps. I have a note here. I have the build guide for DynaCap, and then I've also got the note that Garrett wrote about what steps to skip in the build guide if you've got the pre-lubed housings. So some of this stuff we won't have to lube, which is going to go. Hey, Nix, how are you doing? Good to see you. MetaCubes is a complete solution. It gets screwy when you mix and match sliders and housings between systems, so I'd recommend keeping it consistent. Domes and springs are no issue. Gotcha. Yeah, I imagine that could get pretty hairy. Today we are solely doing DynaCap across the board. So sliders, domes, housings, all that good stuff. Good things. And then I've got a million different kinds of lubricant that I also picked up. So some of this is, as you would expect. We got BDZ. Oh, this is more just for me to test. A couple different. I'm not sure why I got 2 of these, but I did. 2 different BDZs. I think that's just for future work. We got 205G0. We've got 206G2. And then we've also got a giant syringe of 206G2 because there's some parts of the housings and some of the stabilizers, the wire areas and stuff too, that you are supposed to flood with lubricant, not just brush. So the brushes wouldn't really work super well, so I have a syringe to flood some of those areas. So, Metapulse. Oh yeah. I knew it was meta something. I knew what you were getting at. Doing well, waiting for a sushi burrito. Hello, that sounds pretty good. Oh, thanks for the follow, Hector. Hard to keep all the names straight sometimes, yeah. Thanks for the follow, Hector. That means a lot. So we'll use a bunch of these lubricants for different. Some of these are good for plastic on plastic. Some are better for plastic on metal. Like for example, BDZ is more of a good plastic on metal solution because it can also be used for stab wires and things like that. As well as 206G2 is good for plastic and metal contact. So we will attempt to use these and see how they go. And we've already lost a half hour of time, so we're going to speed it up. Treasure Type 9 gang, where do you find those sweet media keycaps? These keycaps are from, what is it, Cam Playground? Is that the set? It's one that Bip designed. Let me see if I can find the exact name to be sure. Is it Playground? Yeah, Cam Playground. So it's a normal, keycap set with a typical base and everything, but there's also a bunch of media add-ons for like streaming, creative apps, and all that kind of stuff. So it worked out really well for this. So I use that for a lot of my streaming controls. Oh, more follows. Thank you for the follows, Mello and Uka. So, good stuff. So first off, let's strip this down and get inside. I think I've got I'll just use a lid here to chuck some of these SA keycaps into. I don't know if Reggie's still here, but we'll use a lovely Reggie keycap puller, turnt wood. This is like a snake wood, I believe it's called. So it kind of has, almost looks like kind of some snake scale patterning and stuff on here, which you might not be able to see, but we'll get a closer look at it later, I'm sure. Let me tuck my Pangea down under here for right now, just to keep it out of the way. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Cool, cool. All right. So we'll just go in and yank here. I feel like these are something bee related. These switches. Is it like honey bee or honeycomb switches? That's right. They're like 65 gram linears that I put in here. I ended up not loving the way they sounded on the PEI, but the plan was for a while has been to convert this. This is the Proto Yellow Classic TKL, so this was the very first limited edition version of the Classic TKL that they came out with. And I thought this yellow, well, I love yellow, as anyone who has followed the channel knows that I love yellow. And so it was kind of a shoo-in for sure. But I think this yellow, this nice rich warm yellow, will also go great with panels. And I also, interestingly, the mere days before they went on half-off sale on Novelkey's website for this Memorial weekend, I bought a bunch more gaskets in panels colors so that we can kind of, since we can see them, to do a little bit of matchy-matchy with panels, hopefully. But granted, they weren't that expensive, but it was kind of funny that like a few days after I bought them, they were half off. But so we've got some extra yellow ones. I thought I might swap out for fresh yellow that haven't been, you know, stretched for years at this point. And then I got some red and I got some blue. They did have green as well, but they were a lot more like lime green, not quite the, not a panels green for sure, kind of that dark teal. So we'll have fun with that. Since we can do 3 and 3, we might just do like a yellow, red, and blue, and maybe we can see what keycaps will end up near those points and see if we can do a little bit of coordination. So we'll see. Some weird fuzzers in there. Not even sure what stabs are in here right now. There's some kind of screw in, but there are black. So they're not my usual knight stabs. I'm not sure what's in here, but might have just been some extra free stuff I had lying around. Let's see. Alright, I'll just take these up by hand now. Like my one little Grand Budapest keycap I have. Alright, keycaps. Let me pull out the assembly here. Okay, cool. Some good insight there on Metapulse. It's a little bit smaller. So aside from watching me butcher an EC stream, anybody got any fun holiday plans today? Or have they done anything fun? Anybody hanging out with people, doing a cookout, anything? I've been taking it pretty easy this morning so far. I was doing family stuff, chilling, enjoying the nice weather. Made some cool screw trays for a few buddies in the Utah Mechanical Keyboard group. Ooh. y'all have a meetup coming up anytime, or is it, or maybe do you all regularly hang out? I'm gonna make pizza at my parents' place. Ooh, is this like a wood stove or like an uni situation, or what kind of pizza are we talking? This is a contentious topic for some. Although I tend to like almost any kind of pizza. I enjoy all sorts. I had a mini meetup on Saturday, 10 people with the trays are just for friends. It'll be an uni night. Very nice. All right, let's see. Any screws gonna fall out? Yes. Just pull all these out here. Want to be reggae when I grow up? I think we all want to be reggae when we grow up. We should all be so lucky. Boring house chores, need to prep for a trip, and for once, we want to have things packed and good before the trip. That is a nice thing to have, and not be like rushing out the door at the last minute. That's almost like we have a 6-year-old, my partner and I, and so that we're like, there's always things prepared at all times. Essentially, if like somebody needs to run out the door, it's like it's almost like having a go bag ready for a spy or something. Where like we have, you know, first aid kit, stuff for the kid, change of clothes, everything is like ready at all times in case something needs to happen or we need to rush out the door. I got an uni for a few Father's Day ago. My dad followed suit. Nice. Speaking of Reggie, no, you don't. I think we'll be the judge of who wants to be you, Reggie. There we go. All right, so there is our base with the JST and a nice silicon bottom here. So we'll set this aside. It'll be a bit before we need that again. And we got our top case and our assembly. So I don't think we actually need to do anything with this right now. So actually I'll just set it in the box because these are all MX parts. So we don't actually need to do anything with this. So we can leave it assembled for now. All right. Case screws. Set this over here. Man, this is really screwing with my eyes though. When I see this out of the corner of my eye, I keep thinking the desk is turned like 20 degrees or whatever this is. I'm just like, huh. Everything's a little crooked. Hold on, let me check what this notification is. If it is critical. Oh, no, it's not. It is just my own Discord server. Which, if you're interested, there you go. But it's a notification from my own bot. I was like, what is this? This is important? All right, so I believe we shall continue putting in housings. Let me go back to the build guide. I think I want... What music do I want? I want this. All right, so I think we've got all the parts. So, yes, install the housings is the first step with a 1U and then the 2U. Make sure you're installing your housings into the bottom of the plate. Yes, very important. This is the bottom. And skip the step if your integrated plate has and built-in stab housings. So we'll do stab housings last. And we don't need gaskets because the plate is thick enough. This is made for EC. Once you experience perfectly level, there's no going back. So, let's do some more housings. Get this out of here. All right. So, we got our, let's go keep going with the 1U housings. And we'll need more of those. 1U, don't know how many, so I'll just get all the 1U housing boxes out for now. And we'll get them all snapped in. So this one, I believe I've already cracked into. Oh, hello, Yamanuji. Cut a piece of the cardboard box where the housings come in. Use it as a type of thummy to protect your thumbs when pushing housings in. Oh, that's a good idea. Because, yeah, just like pushing on the plastic, I feel like could get real tiresome. I'm also going to hang on to boxes to use as props for when we get to the slider and spring stage and domes and all that stuff. So use a piece of cardboard to push, huh? Cardboard box where the housings come in. Oh, but this, okay. Use it as a type of thimble. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me just trim off. I also have this for trimming dome strips when we get to that point. All right, so let's see. Good idea, Hector. It's almost like you've built EC before. Try different things, see what works for yourself and settle on a single way yet. I mean, this is working pretty well. I say that as immediately as it. Just gotta wiggle it slightly. I realize I'm like tilting this to match the pattern on the desk mat. It would have been fun to go with some of the more colorful housings and stuff, but I really wanted the dry lubed ones just to save on effort. Although now I have, well, now this is getting a little flimsy. Now that I have all the right lubricants and tools and stuff. Yeah, let's try a different one. I don't think that is quite as intimidating. There we go. It's a stubborn spot. Dry lubed is the way. Saves a good chunk of time, gives you some insurance for skill issues. Yeah, exactly. And like I'd already, before the dry lubed ones were even announced, I had read through the build guide and I was like, holy crap, this is a lot of lubing. And a lot of different kinds of lube, like at least 2. Like for the plastic on plastic contact and the plastic on metal contact. And I was like, also brushes, also like syringes if you want to like flood the space for some of the stuff, for the stabilizers. So some extra, oh look how nice this is looking so far. Some of that extra overhead. All right, that's a 2U spot. So since it is a TKL, I am doing full backspace on this. All right, we'll hang on to that for propping purposes. And then we got more housings. Not all the way. There we go. It's not that bad for what it's worth. If you lock in with the 205 brush, you can get the 1U housings lubed in like 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I imagine, because it's like the slider rails, right? Like these corners that are the main reason for that. So I imagine, yeah, you could get into a really good rhythm with that. Oh yeah, I was a dummy. I meant to post on Instagram that I was live. Now that we're 40 minutes in or whatever. Not that that will change anything, but we'll see. Let's do live now. Whoop. And we'll do a big link to Twitch. And it will be Twitch. There we go. I'm so bad at remembering to post on Instagram. Okay, next row. I do like this plate a lot, but handling so much, my hands start to smell like coins, which I'm not the biggest fan of. It's just like that metal residue smell. Tom did a fantastic job on this plate, by the way. If you ever need a custom plate cut for EC or for anything else, I highly recommend Hype. Some people wear nitrile gloves for that. Yeah, I could see why. Not a great smell, but I'll wash my hands, it'll be fine. Speaking of bad smells, are we going to talk about the Manta case, Nana? Is that the reason you're getting rid of it? Is my Manta case off-gassed yet? I don't know. I haven't, the Manta case is in storage in my closet, so it may be ruining all of my jackets in there right now. But yeah, of all the keyboard cases I have gotten, and I've had some ones that have smelled kind of gnarly. The Manta case, the Manta carrying case is the most offensive smelling keyboard case I have ever received. And it seems that that is the case for no pun intended. That is the case for most of them. Is it still starting soon? I'm not sure what you mean, Uka. Unless you were somehow trapped in the previous version of the stream that crashed. Uh-oh, now I'm worried. Are there two streams happening somehow? Let me go to my channel. Well, no, that looks normal. Poor Uka. Has it just been stuck on a starting soon screen for the last 45 minutes for you? I thought it would, when OBS crashed, the stream would have stopped. and then I started a new one. I had to leave the Manta case outside for a day or two. Yeah, I might need to do the same. I mean, mine's been mostly closed up, so it has not had a chance to like air out in any meaningful way. So I need to just probably like leave it in my sunroom for a couple days and off gas. It was stuck on the starting screen. I'm sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah, OBS crashed and stopped, and I thought it stopped streaming, but I guess it. Some people who might have been in the other version got kind of stuck in stream limbo. So I appreciate you sticking around for so long. I'm sorry about that. That sucks. I mean, in a metaphysical way, we're all starting soon, right? In different ways. I don't know what that means. All right. That one's a little bit stubborn. Time is a construct. That is true. Time is a flat circle, as they say on True Detective. Speaking of spooky TV shows, if you enjoy spooky TV shows, but not too spooky, like pretty spooky light, all things considered, I highly recommend Widow's Bay. It is an Apple TV show that started at the end of April, I want to say. And it is so good. If you, I mean, just as an idea, it is created by a few people who were writers on Parks and Rec. So it takes some of that like silly municipal workspace stuff from Parks and Rec and combines it with Stephen King. And it's like this little New England island that has all this terrible stuff going on and spooky, paranormal, whatever, and a horrible history. And it's also like these very funny people, like the mayor and the people in his office that are running it. Them? No, I haven't watched them, but I know about it. So yeah, like them from Dark, like some of these types of shows, but mixed with like very silly small town people. So it's a horror comedy, and it's so good. I'm all caught up now. There's only been 5 episodes, and I think there's going to be 10 this season, so it's still airing. But it is very funny if you like that sort of thing. It does a really good job of balancing the horror with funny character moments and stuff. So, highly recommend. Also, this most recent episode had, I don't know if you're familiar with the comedian Chris Fleming. Kind of makes a cameo in it as a character in town, and it's very funny. I won't say any more than that. All right, so we've got a few more 1U housings to do. Now these two are going to be stabilizer slider housings, so we don't do these in there. This is a brass plate? It is a brass plate. I had this custom cut by Tom at Hype Keyboards, because you need typically a much stiffer material than, plastic plates are kind of a no-go with EC. I guess maybe an integrated plate could be different, but just a normal style of plate, you need a more sturdy metal for EC from what I've read. So some I know use steel and brass as an option. Depending on the mounting, I think maybe you could get away with aluminum if there was like zero flexibility. But I feel like that may be the softest you can get. By the way, for the metal on plastic lubing, skip the BDZ and the 206G zero brush. You can get away with just using the syringe with a fine tip to apply lube in the grooves where the wires go. Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you. You may have to remind me again when we get to that point, but I appreciate that. Still waiting for him to get some Ultim back in stock. Oh yeah, I've gotten him. He's cut a couple Ultim or PEI plates for me. The one that I had, well, this one, that I had in the Classic TKL previously was cut by Tom. I've also got a PEI plate that he cut for my thermal, and I have one ready for the Event Horizon, if and when it should ever appear. I've built with alu plates on EC. It's doable, but a bit iffy when pushing housings. Oh yeah, the extra flexibility, I imagine, can be a challenge. You got to keep the whole thing tight. All right, stab, and then 2 more 2Us over here for our 7U bottom row that we've got. All right, there's our 1U housings. So now we'll do the 2Us. So these can be for propping. This is extra. So let me set that down here. Sliders, sliders, sliders. Let me get my box back out. My F1 is alu, but it's 1.5 mil, not 1.2. Feels sturdy enough. Oh, did you do an EC build in an F1? That's pretty cool. I have an F1 as well. I've not tried that yet. 2U housings. I'm going to set these over here. That's really cool. Did you use DynaCap or did you use something else? Like, what was it we were talking about? Metapulse? What is this notification about? Nothing important. Let's go on. DynaCap is amazing. Always your choice. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, as you can see from my shirt, I picked this up at the Novel Keys meetup last year and got to talk with Kurt and Garrett and Tristan and, you know, the Omnitype and DynaCap crew. We got to try out a bunch of stuff, which was very cool. That was kind of my first experience with actually trying out DynaCap. Got a shirt too, need a ball cap. Oh, this is stuck to this magnet. I'm excited to see what they got, if anything new, at KeyCon. Because I think Omnitype is going to have a presence there. I know Tristan's going to be there, Captain Sterling. But I think he's off the clock, so to speak. Like, he's not necessarily having to rep Omnitype or DynaCap while he's there. I think he can kind of just do his own thing. But I think Omnitype's going to be there. All right, so we got some housings here. So if this turns out well, this might be one of the boards that I take with me to KeyCon. I think Clever said he was going. Very cool. Oh man, Clever's got some really cool stuff cooking. All right, let's look at our 2U housings. Now I think I need to align these holes with the screw holes. Is that correct? Screw holes. And the holes need to align with that, I'm pretty sure. Screw holes on the bottom. Yep. It made sense. So I think like that, and that. All right. Get my little shim here. Chonk. Cool. Looks all aligned. Good. I'm really glad that I have people with EC experience here today. That's making me feel much more confident. This is my first EC build. Yes, it is. It is. There we go. Got a little fuzzer stuck in there. Soon you'll be one of those people with EC experience that can help out others. That's what I am hoping for. Because, like, with DynaCap and Metapulse and all these folks making it more accessible and easier for, in a lot of ways, I'm excited for more options. And I like typing on EC. I've just never owned my own EC board and also never built one. All right, so there's our 2U housings. Only used up an hour so far, not too bad. And now we need our stabilizer housings for here and here. So those live in here. Stabilizer housings. Look forward to trying EC, just need a proper board for it. Yeah, originally my plan for my first EC build was actually going to be the Cloud9 V2. Which, as far as I know, I mean, they've been kind of hush-hush on it. But as far as we know, it's still on track for June. And they were going to make an EC kit to go with it, but haven't heard anything definitive on that at this point. It's only been 5 minutes for me. I'm sorry. It's time dilation, Uka. All right, so we got some sliders. Now these I know, like I know we've got the tiny little hole up here is something that we're going to end up flooding with lube at some point. I remember that from the build guide. All right, so our housings. Let me see. Let me look at the diagram here. Gaskets. Well, I guess they have to go because these aren't perfectly square. I don't think they seem slightly elongated. Or does it go like this? This diagram is not easy to read. Garrett. Oh wait, maybe that helps. Oh, it does go like this and this? It seems. Is that correct? You can put the wire slot on the top or bottom, up to you. Oh, okay. That's nice. And any recommendation, or is it completely a preference? It doesn't really matter? Just as long as they're both going the same way. It's either side. Okay. Okay. Think you did wire up top? I mean, I think I'll do that. I mean, if it doesn't matter. Top helps clearance on some boards. Oh, I could see that. Yeah, just in case you don't want anything too close to the edge here. I'll just do it this way. Yeah, I'm glad that they had the, you know, they've still got the little screw notches out of the side so you can kind of tell which way they go. All right. Huzzah! Housings. All right. Let's continue on. So now we can lubricate. Now this is a step we can skip. We can skip page 4, which is lubing the slider rails on the inside of the 1U housings. We don't need to do that. You did north facing? Cool. I'll do the same. So we don't need to lube the slider rails on the 1U housings because these are dry lubed, pre-done. So now, silencing rings. Oh, you said it. Yeah, silencing rings. Is this a sarcastic, the fun part? So let me get some tweezies here. Got my little curved tweezers. And we'll need some, let's see, we don't need any of these anymore, so I'll set these aside to recycle. We need sliders. Only part that's more fun is the springs. Well, I do have my springs ready. They're already all untangled over here, and I do have my tweezers to grab them. I gotta prop up the assembly. Right. Yes. So let's do We'll get it right here. Just in a visible zone here. Yeah, I knew ahead of time about the springs, so I got these untangled last week and have remarkably only spilled a couple of them. They've just been chilling on my desk here because I don't have anything fancy, any little containers to keep them all separate in, so they've just kind of been hanging out. I've done a lot of research ahead of time. Oh yeah, the 3D printed tools. Somebody in my Discord linked me to that and was showing that off. I didn't have time to get one done or buy one or anything, but in the future, and whatever springs I don't use, I do want to keep them in something. If I want to continue with EC in the future, which I think would be really fun. It'd be fun to do it as a commission service for people too who don't want to have to do all this themselves. Which is something I've been thinking about getting into now that this is missing from my toolkit, obviously, kind of a blind spot with EC stuff. But I built, 50 to 60 MX boards at this point, and now I know how to solder, and I've been doing that, and now with this, so it might be fun to open up build services at some point, but we'll see. So yeah, sliders and our silencing rings. So insert silencing rings into the bottom. Oh, that's the 2U. Hold on. Oh, that's different. Install silencing rings on the sliders. Okay. Ah, yeah, so we got the little ring exterior here. So we'll peel them off and put them around the outside here. So I don't need these extra boxes. Push to open. Oh, it needs to be cut first, actually, most likely. Push to open, really? Or do I need to actually open another thing? It says push to open, but it does not want to open. Maybe I need to cut the top. Gotta unseal the whole sticker first. Aha. There they are. Little buddies with the little clover logo, or the clever clover. Silicon rings are alright, I do prefer pour-on. Long side to lift the rings from the plastic sheet. So like the exterior curve and kind of come in. Jeez Louise. Yeah, this might be a long process. That one doesn't look like it's particularly separated from the interior. There we go. There's one. Now go on. There we go. 83 more to go. And then we just drop it in, yeah? I feel like I should have queued up a movie or something to watch during all this. Bend the sheet a bit at the edge of the ring. Oh, sure, just like a sticker, right? So what do you prefer about the pour-on rings, Uka? Just like a sound and feel difference? Or is it easier to apply? Just more silent, more dampening. That makes sense. Nice. It's also nice, I think maybe, was it you that mentioned this, Hector, in your article, that it's nice having the little clover logo in the sliders and stuff because you can easily just grab it with the tweezers. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I remember that. And I like that little touch. Up to now, the only like clever type thing I've had is actually the soft shutter release that he sold. I bought one at the Novel Keys meetup and I have been using it on my Fuji. And it's quite nice, quite cute. As an insert and let go of the tweezers, the natural bend of it will hurt. Yeah. Because they'll want to expand and just compress into the logo. Very cool, very thoughtful. I got to have dinner with Jeeber and Clever at the meetup, and yeah, he seems like a very thoughtful dude in terms of how he approaches these design projects. I have everything he's made so far. I think the wing is the first one I'll have to miss. Oh, the wing does look hot. All right, let me try to bend this one a little bit and see if we can free the ring. Oh, that's the whole dang pad. Aha! Come out. That one wasn't cut super cleanly. Oh, thank you, Frederick, for the hydrate and the reminder. Appreciate that. Nothing fancy today, just water. Need to show up to one of these big meetups eventually. I've only been to one, but it was really fun. The Novel Keys one was my first meetup. Well, I say that. I mean, I've hosted a couple... That one's also kind of fused together. I've hosted a couple small events at my co-working space, which has mostly just been myself to show off keyboards, and we also built one and gave it away and stuff like that to kind of give... Because like I live in West Michigan, and the hobby here is not like popping off, let's say. There's a few folks that I've made friends with. Also some through Twitch that I've discovered like live here, and we've gotten to meet up and stuff. If anyone remembers, like Master's Bedroom, friend of the channel, couldn't be here today, but he's a local and we swap keyboard stuff sometimes. So yeah, like I've hosted a couple small little events at my co-working space, but the Novel Keys one was my first like big legit meetup, and the KeyCon will be my second next month. So maybe Keeblife. Keeblife does look really good. They announced the dates for this year's, right? It's in LA. Is it in LA? It usually is, isn't it? Because that's Frank's meetup. Oh, too close to the H2H and the RF8X group buys. Gotcha. For the wing. In southern West Virginia, I feel your struggle. Yeah. I mainly wanted to, when I hosted my little events, I mainly just wanted to be a resource for other people. I mean, kind of like what Hector mentioned of, eventually maybe being able to be one of those guys who can help people with EC builds. I wanted to, help people who weren't familiar with the hobby at all, kind of start developing a palette of things they might like, if they ever wanted to get into keyboards, like understanding what all the different terms are, what anything means, different acronyms, all that kind of stuff. So like bringing a nice array of, different switch types and different keyboard layouts, all that kind of stuff, just to help people figure it out. if it's something they might be interested in. I've gotten a couple people at my co-working space on the keyboard train from those kind of events, including, well, Frederick. Frederick's in the chat. But I mean, he was already in the hardware. You know, Frederick builds his own PCs and is already very well versed in, you know, custom computer hardware type stuff. But I've been able to get a couple other folks to see the light of the keyboard and join the fold. It'd be so awesome to run a little shop with so various boards set up for them to try, like a shoe store for keeps. I know. I don't think, I mean, I'd have to live in a much larger place, because I know there's like some places in like Japan and other places that, and like California, that do actually do that. And some folks have like a little keyboard store and stuff. But I feel like you'd have to have the density of like hobbyists or tourists or just general population to make that kind of thing work, because it's so niche. But yeah, that would be so fun to be able to come in and like, yeah, exactly like a shoe store, be like, hey, what are you looking for? And like help people try things on and be like, yeah, we got these kind of switches and this kind of layout and this kind of material. And, you know, do you need it to be quiet? Do you need it to do this? Do you need to do that? And be able to like help people make selections and stuff. And that'd be fun. That'd be very, very fun. Would have to be downtown in a big city, I think. Yeah, you would need to be able to have like foot traffic of people seeing it and coming in and stuff like that. All right, I need another box of sliders. We have one in San Jose. Yes, Tiny Keyboard Shop. That's the one in California I was thinking of. Am I talking about opening a shop? I think it would be fun to open a shop. I don't think it's financially viable to open a shop. At least not where I live. But I think that'd be really fun. So mainly I just do like more one-on-one, like keyboard sommelier type stuff for people. Like I helped Frederick out because he had kind of given me a list of criteria of like things he was looking for in a keyboard. And there's actually one that we built on stream last year for him. And it was basically like, I want it to be blue and I want it to be quiet. I want it to be as close to full size as possible. I really wanted to have USB pass through, like all that kind of stuff. And so I like had my ears to the ground for months until the extras for the AKB Petrichor came out, and was able to snag one of the navy blue ones for him and, you know, work on building it and figuring everything out. And that was super fun. Like, I really like doing that kind of thing. Tiny Keyboard Shop isn't far from me. Give us a live stream from the Tiny Keyboard Shop, Shark. Speaking of which, if any of you are unfamiliar with Shark, Shark is a keycap designer extraordinaire. If you have frequented Bowles' website at all, you have no doubt seen his set, DCS Grass Valley, which is in Group Buy right now. And has already hit MOQ and has also gone on to some price breaks. And you should all get in on it if you can. It's going to be good. You'd need a good sanitation strategy for the test keys. Yeah, wipe them down. I'm trying to learn about that. Which set and which site? Are you asking about DCS Grass Valley? Well, I can't type right now. Shark, if you want to throw in a link to DCS Grass Valley, go for it. We'll be building with DCS today, not with Grass Valley because it's not out yet. But we'll be building with Oh, there you go. There's Board's very own site. Board. Shark's very own site. Board is the kind of his design endeavors handle. Here's a link that goes to all the vendors. Perfect. If that is what you meant, Chicom-san? But yes, Grass Valley is going to look good on a lot of boards. My plan right now is to put it on a Juno 60. But I feel like mint boards have been kind of making a comeback recently, and it will look really good on any of those. It'll also look good. I mean, it'll look good on a lot because there's a lot of colors going on. I imagine it'll also look fantastic on silver, which might also be a good option for like the Boltle ship. Yep, that's what you meant. Excellent. Shark also put up a new keycap set idea in his Discord earlier that is based on the Little Prince, which looks pretty cool, an MT new set. Go. Let me do it on time. Don't know that I'll ever stream EC builds regularly if I get more into it, but I may need to pre-do some of this stuff just because I won't have 3+ hours to dedicate to streaming most of the time. Whoa! Runaway slider. And runaway ring. Typically, for anyone who's newer, I typically stream on Tuesday evenings. And I usually only have a couple hours that I am able to dedicate to this, so this is not the usual MO. The EC is key building and switch modding at the same time. Yep. That is a good way to put it. Okay, these ones were, these four are kind of more fused together, so I'm going to skip those ones and jump over to here. Don't really want to try to mess with separating those right now if I don't need to. That one's got a little wrinkle. Guess I don't need to mess with making sure they're all the way down because compression will do that for me. Correct? Let me double check one thing here. Make sure this isn't something vital. What is... Keep getting these Discord pings. I'm trying to see if it's actually something important or not. Nope. Be gone. How many EC builds would you say you've done at this point, Hector? Have they mostly been conversions of other boards, or have they been ones that have been like designed to go with DynaCap or other things? All right, new tray of sliders. What was the question? Oh, sorry. I was just curious how many EC builds you've done. And if they were mostly like conversions of other boards, or if they were ones that were like designed to go with, like they came with Dynapacks and stuff like that. Also, I'm so glad that you wrote up your whole experience in a blog and not buried in a Discord somewhere. I love personal blogs, and I love having like easily bookmarkable and searchable web text. I gotta write some more blog posts myself on my website. I've got a few drafts in the hopper, but I just haven't updated it in a bit. One thing's forums are good for, that's very true. That's why I like, what is it, Keep Talk? I've really enjoyed digging into more recently, because it's like a good old keyboard forum. And it's nice to see people doing stuff in a forum setting. Because like, for example, for this build guide, you know, the build guide for DynaCap is readily available on the DynaCap website. But to discover which portions of it you can ignore because of the pre-lubed housings, you have to search in Discord and try to find this one edited message from Garrett from March. Otherwise, there's no indication of what portions you don't need to mess with. So, you know, it's that kind of stuff. I've gotten into modding HHKBs and real forces too. Very cool. Have a backlog of articles. Will you publish this VOD to YouTube? I need to save this for future time when I want to attempt it. Yes, yeah, all of my VODs go on YouTube. And it should be... There you go. Yeah, I save them all and they all go on YouTube. And I also do timestamps and stuff for different portions of the builds. So if there's a particular part you want to visit, feel free. But I also highly recommend Hector's articles about EC builds. Because reading that is what really got me like, oh, this isn't actually too daunting. He laid it out in a really good way that was easy to understand. So that's a good resource too. If you prefer like reading something instead of trying to watch a video. Working on a building EC from an MX background type article. Well, that is me to a T. That is my background. So I'd probably find that handy for sure. Unfortunately, the VODs will not have any of these nice city pop music because I strip it out for the VODs. But choose the music of your choice when you rewatch. I'm heading out. Oh, thank you so much for your help already. I really appreciate it, and for all of the resources you've already produced. I think a lot of people discover MX first, probably super helpful. Yeah, I think so for sure. That's definitely a larger portion of the hobby. I mean, maybe some things will shift now that a lot of EC stuff is more accessible, or is becoming more accessible for some folks, with it being like included options and new boards that are coming out and everything. But we'll just have to see. Catch the rest of the VOD later. Awesome. Enjoy your day. There we go. Everything's working together really smoothly so far. I really appreciate that about these DynaCap parts. Granted, these are also V2s, so I mean, any potential kinks I think they've been able to get worked out. Because I know there were some binding issues with some of the parts in V1. And now they've got the dry lube stuff going. MX, EC, what does this mean? Yeah, MX is more of your typical Cherry style keyboard switch and setup. So for example, let me get that housing in. If you've ever seen switches more like this, let me pull one out. Got too many tools here. Pull that out. So something like this is an MX style switch. So it has a housing, it has a slider that goes up and down as you press the keycaps, which are attached to the top. And then it, makes an electrical contact inside with these pins that are connected to a PCB in the keyboard, so that you know when a key has been pressed. So that is how that works, as opposed to what I'm building, which is EC, which stands for electrocapacitive. So rather than, like, there will still be sliders, like this portion, which is what these are that I'm putting silencing rings on right now, that go up and down inside these housings. But rather than like a metal leaf making contact with the pins inside of here, that is going to, pressing down on here, is going to compress a metal spring like this. And that's going to make contact with a pad on the PCB. All of these circles on the PCB. And that's going to complete the circuit and tell the computer that a key has been pressed. So it uses a spring and kind of a silicon rubber dome to give feeling and feedback and compression and resistance and all that kind of stuff that you need. So it's just a different way of doing the same thing and a different kind of part structure. So if you've ever seen or used like a Topra branded keyboard, those are also electrocapacitive. So they use a similar kind of setup to this. EC is much quieter, exactly. And we're using more quietness with these silencing rings that we're putting on. So that also has a dampening effect. But they are typically much quieter, yeah. Because you can get pretty loud, clacky stuff with MX builds if you're doing like, depending on the switches you're using and what they're made of, as well as the plate material, the keyboard material. So there's a lot of factors and personal preference stuff that can go into it. Why the brass plate? For EC builds, you need a thicker and stiffer plate than MX. Yeah, this is brass. Because after we build this, we'll have to calibrate it in VIA and make sure that it's working. Because of the nature of EC with the springs and everything, you have to keep a really consistent compression across the whole assembly. So you'll see, maybe you can't see, but I'm not going to lift this right now, actually. There's these tiny little screw holes all over the plate because you have a lot of screw mounting points between the plate and the PCB for an EC build, because you've got to keep that consistent compression across the whole thing. You don't want as much flexibility as you might want in an MX build. So having a harder, thicker metal plate is key for part of that. So like brass is one. Hector mentioned that he had also built with alu one time, but you have to have a lot of mounting points to keep it steady. But I would say steel and brass are probably the most common from what I've read for EC builds, unless you have an integrated plate as part of the keyboard itself and not kind of a separate piece like this. I think that allows you to do to have a little bit more leeway. All right, let's open another box here. So this one I had cut custom for me by Tom up at Hype Keyboards. Because it's easy to get the plate files, as well as Sipalot has also created some plate generator tools. So like in this case, you could go in and say, I want to make a classic TKL plate, and I want it to have this kind. So you could adjust the layout as like, oh, I want it to have a 6.25 spacebar, or I want to do, you know, split backspace, split left shift, you know, whatever. And then you could spit out a plate file for that specifically and then have someone cut it for you. And then it has all of the right cutouts. You can have it tapped for the right size of screws, which for DynaCap is M2s, I believe. And, you know, and it has all the mounting bits and bobs that you need. So what a time to be in the hobby. Yeah. Wild. Wild stuff. We got 330, okay. I got more wiggle room on the end of my time today, so that's good. I don't know how long the rest of this is going to take. Although everything's been, knock on wood, as I drop in a silencing ring. Things have been going pretty smoothly so far, so. We shall see. We couldn't use MT-New before DynaCap, along with lots of other profiles. I do think that MT-New definitely shines the best on EC. Like I have some MT-New and I just have not enjoyed it as much in an MX setting typically. But I've tried MT-New on EC and it's a treat. I'm excited to see try some DCS today. But depending on if this turns out well, this when MT-New Foundation comes in, that may be going on here as well. DCS so good. That's what I've heard, so I'm planning on capitalizing on that. Especially now that I've got panels, and I think it's going to look really good on this board. Oop, runaway little dot. That's okay, don't need that. These ones are also a little bit more fused. There seem to be a few on each one of these that just kind of completely fused together and didn't get cut. But we've got a bunch right here, so we can always move on and revisit. It gives a nice raindrop sound. Ooh, I'm excited. I mean, I like DCS in most contexts anyway, so I'm really excited to... It's been really cool to see the DCS love kind of resurging recently, I feel like, with a lot of folks. New DCS sets coming down the way. DCS revivals of other sets. I think people just want more variety now. KKB is great. It's really similar. Oh yeah, so is Swag Keys. The new SWG sets are like exploding right now. Their production timeline is insane right now. Like all the sets they've got coming down the pipe. I have beige, and it's really nice. For a fraction of the cost of GMK. I'm trying to get into setting up a shop to make keycaps. What I gather so far, ABS and PBT are the most desired materials. Is there a reason epoxy resins are not preferred? I'm not sure. I've definitely seen... I see resin used a lot in artisans, in custom artisans. I don't know about just standard keycap runs, though. I don't know if there's more potential inconsistency of material in like larger batches or what, but I'm excited for Clever's set. Oh, which one is Clever's? I only know the names of some of them. Is it already on the Swag Keys roadmap Notion? I'm curious. Or is it one that's already being produced? All right, looks like we'll need a few more slideys. Let's see, here we go. One more box. Oh, Parkway. Yeah. I remember the name. Let me get this pulled up. Oh, I almost knocked springs off. Hi. Let's see. Prepress, Euler. So we're in Q2 right now. I'm looking forward to... TARS is one I'm looking forward to, for sure. And Ferrofluid, I got in on that. Parkway. Oh yeah, clever. Look at that. So nice, like, dark green, blue, yellow, and white. That's some nice... Oh, some nice, like, road travel novelties. That's cute. It'll go nicely with some stuff. Made to batch the Blue Ridge. Oh, that makes sense. Yep, it's on the timeline. So that's going to go for group buy in Q3 then. Nice. Yeah, Q3 is going to be stacked because we got like Bolch, we got Wob, we got Nerve, Heartbreaker, Hazakura, Hypermix. Like there's some bangers coming. But thankfully it's not as tough on the old wallet as if those were all GMK group buys. Honestly, most of what I've bought recently has been Swag Keys and DCS. I love MT New, but a set costs as much as some boards. Yeah. Yep. And it's also a little bit more limited in what you can do with it because of like UV print, right? Isn't there something where they can't do the UV printing on there? Or they haven't figured that out yet? Or am I making that up? When I bought 800 originally, I thought it was going to be... I think it was like 3D. Oh, yeah. I really wanted to get in on 800, either of the rounds of it, but I just didn't have the money at the time that either of them came around. Because I think... Maybe I'll try to find one on the aftermarket at some point, because I feel like that would look amazing with the Cloud9 V2. Or Cloud9 V2, I should say. Cloud9... The Cloud9 is a different keyboard. The Cloud9 V2 is what I got in on. And I did like the Amber PC I feel like that would be an excellent match with MT-New 800. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what funding looks like closer to when that comes out. Yeah, right now the plan is to do GMK Expo, because that's got a lot of really nice tones in it that I think would also go well. And I also have a dyed amber PC artisan for it already. So it might be a shoe-in, but we'll see. All right, we're getting close to the end of the one-use sliders. 3 more to go here. You changed your mind on Juna. You're gonna go with cyan. Oh, you want to get a mint oblique. I mean, fair. The mint oblique looks dope. I'm debating about if I have the funding to get in on the oblique. Just because everyone I've heard get an oblique raves about it. And having just watched Mango build that pink one the other day. It looks real good. The cyan is so pretty too. Now just imagine you also had to leave with those sliders. No, thank you. No, I am so glad for this dry lube. All right, so now we've done the 1U sliders. Now we do the 2Us. So 2U slider barrels are slightly smaller than 1U, so if you place the silencing ring on the sliders first and flip it, they may fall off. It's best to put the rings in the housing first, is what the build guide says. So, let me set these aside. Excuse me. So you're thinking cyan, Juna, and then mint oblique? Is that the play? Shark. Yeah. Yeah, I could do... I think a mint board is still going to be best for me for Grass Valley. But I do want to find something else to put Gorp on, and I think that either a mint or cyan board would work really well with Gorp. So I got options. Okay. 2U sliders and wires. All right. There's the wire. I love the orange oblique too, but my secret... Oh, your secret. At first I was like, what's your secret? Then I realized, oh, that's the name of a keyboard. Secret is orange and gonna sell your Margot. Gotcha. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Shark, but I feel like you said on stream before you do not own a 60. So is the... are these bowl keyboards, or ones that, I guess, logo and bowl boards, going to be your first 60%? Currently don't have a 60, but have a few on the way. I was pretty cold on 60s initially, and now they're one of my favorite layouts. I love them to bits. I'm excited for you to jump into 60s. All right, so this says to put the ring into the 2U housings first because the barrels on the 2U sliders are slightly narrower, so they might slip. 60 goated, incoming is the Juna. Oh, the Arum. I thought about the Arum. It looked really good. And the Gehern. All good choices. All good choices. Yeah, one of my buddies is getting the Gehern, so I'm interested to give it a go when I can see it in person. All right, so let's, oh no, get out of there. All right, get in there, good. Stay in the housing. Yes, I may get the oblique in win keyless. I wish, I mean, I've said this on stream many times at this point, but I do enjoy the aesthetic benefits of win keyless, the symmetry, all that goodness. However, I am an old man. I am set in my ways. And there is a lot of keyboard shortcuts I would need to reteach myself how to do if I was remapping keys around the side. In an HHKB fashion, I assume I would need to wrap some stuff up into the caps lock area. Because I use so many keyboard shortcuts for like design software and stuff that I would need to like adjust ever so slightly. I don't know that I would enjoy that. Enzo E is my next 60 coming, if that counts. Oh, I love the Enzo. Got to type on one of those at the Novel Keys meetup too. It was lovely. I too am an old man trying to diversify. Are you on Mac? I am. So I use, yeah, like Command, Option, Control a lot. And a lot of times in concert with each other for various design, software shortcuts, other stuff that I use. So like I use Option is in that place for Mac users, and I use that a lot. Like it's system wide, it's very important. So like if that were shifted, or if it were over here and then Control was shifted up to the caps lock in an HHKB kind of way, I don't know if the benefits of the aesthetics of win keyless would outweigh the pain of adjusting. I use Control where caps lock is, Command immediately to the left of the spacebar, and then Option to the left of that. Yeah, I mean, I figured that's what I would need to do too. I just don't know that if I'm spending hundreds of dollars on a thing, if it's worth the pain of learning how to reuse my left hand. But, you know, it's, if the right win keyless came along, maybe. I hit Command Control Shift 4 so much. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, we'll see. All right, I got my 2U rings in. So I think we can retire the silencing rings. Screenshot all the things. Indeed. Although on a couple of my keyboards, I do have a key set up to take screenshots for me, which is nice. And to also open the emoji picker. My Sonnet and my Universe are both set up with those, which is great. I have like a little camera icon on one of them. Just go take a screenshot. Okay, so we did that. Now we put in the 2U, right? That's a nice quality of life. Yeah. It's nice. Well, it's also on the keycap set that I helped work on for my company. Then we have a bunch of the icons, like media keys and icons for stuff. So we have a little like smiling emoji face. So that's the emoji picker, camera for the screenshots. It's great. Okay, so we did that. All right, we did that. Perfect. So then we put in, well, these are a little bit different. So how do these go in? So that was just the rings. Drop them in. Okay, did that. And then this is page 7. So we can skip step 1, which is to lube the inside corners of the 2U housings, because that's already done with dry lube. I know Hector has a different method than me, but I do BDZ on wires and 205G0 in the housing, just like MX. Interesting. I might try that in the future. I'll probably stick with whatever the build guide says for now. So we don't do this part yet. So we need to get 205G0, 205G0 pin, and our lube tube of 206. Let me make this window a little bit smaller so I can still see the chat while I'm looking at the build guide. So we don't need to do the 4 inside corners of the 2 U housings. Don't need to do that. But we do need to do under and above wire clips. So the wire clips are on the bottom, so it's different than this picture because they have the housing flipped upside down. So I know it's really dark. They're all the black parts. The little clips that we have here will get completely fill the area under the clip with lube. Okay, so flush with the plate, I guess. Add a dab of 206 on the wall across from the clip to coat that side of the wire as you press it in. Oh, okay, so just like beep, beep, right there. Okay, so let's get lubing. Let me get this plastic off of here. Now let's tear this out. I don't care. There we go. All right, so we've got lube. Let me do the pen first. I think that might be the way to go. Let me get the plastic off. Let's see, how's this doing? Good. Just double checking Twitch, making sure that everything's still hunky-dory. All right, lube pen. First time using an Omni-type lube pen. It looks like there's also plastic around this, but thankfully it's perforated, which is super handy. All right. So we are adding, oh wait, I didn't need to do that part. That's a step I don't need to do. That's okay. Typing hobby, not a reading hobby, right? All right, syringe. We got our nozzle. All right, so let's attach. Oh, there's already this end of the nozzle here. Take that off and attach that. I'm gonna do some keyboard surgery over here, it feels like. All right, so this is going to flood the areas under the clip. So I might slide this a little bit back towards myself. Gotta have a PhD to build keyboards. Sometimes it feels like it. So flood the areas under the clips. All right. Let's see if we can, oh, it's flowing. Okay. Got that one. Oh, that one might be a little too much, but that's okay. Okay, we got those. It seems to be only that little bit of area right under the clip. So I know that's not going to show up on camera unless I zoom in. So if you can see a little bit of the white right there now, where I've flooded that area with 206 right under the clips. So under and above the wire clips. So yeah, that'll go underneath, and then we brush on a little bit opposite the clip. All right, let's zoom out. I know this is riveting stuff for stream as we add lubricant to a piece of plastic. This is why we come to these streams, right? So exciting. Riveting stuff. Listen, you could be doing anything else today. And you chose to be here on a holiday, watching a grown man make plastic slippery. And I thank you for it. Okay, this one needs some. And honestly, on this Memorial Day, what could be more American than that? All right. So let me put the cat back on there. So we got Cool. Now we use another pen. Now this is the 206 pen. This is what I had meant to open first. The 206 pen. Oh, this is perforated too. Did I open this in a more complicated way than I needed to? I'm doing other stuff too. I am glad. I am glad other people are doing stuff because you should not let your day just go to waste watching me do this. So I'm glad of that. But I also appreciate everybody being here. It's very kind. Very kind to sacrifice some of your day off if you have one. All right. 206G2 brush applicator. Let's get the plastic off of here. Let's see, there is the perforated section. Excellent. All right, so this will go. Now I twist, right? That adds some lube into the brush. And I just get to watch the back of my head for a second. Let's see. I think there's stuff coming out. It's hard to tell. What domes am I using? I am using the medium domes because I don't really have a good frame of reference as to the different comparisons. So I figured start with middle of the road. And then if I absolutely hate it, I can always redo it with something else later if I want to rebuild. Okay, I think I got some on there. Cool. All right, next, 2U sliders and 2U wires. Now this portion, I don't need to do anything to the outer walls because of the pre-lubing that was done. So, step 1, area where wire exits. So that is here and here. Completely fill that area where the wire exits with lube. And then a little bit on the sliding rails. Okay, maybe I should do that part first. Actually, can I use my stem holder for this? Does that? Ooh! Thank you, Gian. Since this is MX compatible, the stem holder can help me kind of hold onto this slider while I'm doing stuff, which is nice. Okay, so I'll need some lubricant in the spots where the wire exits, and then along the sliding rails, with 206G2. So that is a tiny little plastic piece in there. So I need to flood that, and then add a little bit right there. So let's do that tiny rail first. What? Thank you for the subscription, Uka. That's incredibly kind. I really appreciate that. I still don't know if... Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Now I can see the stuff gooshing. Let me... So I might have been a little bit too light before. Because now I can actually see this stuff coming out of the brush. All right, I'll do a little bit of... The brush itself does not seem overly flexible. That's my only qualm with these brushes. It's hard to tell how much lube is in there. Yeah, I mean, like I had to really crank... this will get clipped. I had to really crank it to see the stuff come out. Yeah, now... Who up cranking they lube? Okay, I think I got that part. Yeah, I had to like really do it, and then it was like squirting out the side. All right, now we'll switch to the syringe. And we will flood this area. This lower portion. Okay. Aha. So that part is done. Oh, there's another, that's a helpful little diagram. So I did flood the lower portion there, perfect. So now we take the wire. And the wire, double check I'm doing this right. So the wire goes in and then forward. Like so. Cool. So for an example, what I just did, so we've already gotten the lube in here. It slides into here and then is pulled forward like so. So it kind of hangs off over here. So it enters down and then goes forward. There's a much better diagram in the build guide than I can show you right now. Reverse for you to match the housing? Yeah. I do appreciate that tip. Because this will need to go into the clip, which is down this way. So yeah, I will rotate, drop it in, snap wire into clip. So let me release from my holder. Right. Oh, whoops, hold on. I want to double check that I'm doing this correctly. So it goes in, and then the wire clips in. Hey, look at that. Nice. It's a little bit, whoop, hold on. Some fuzz came with this tissue. There's a little bit of extra goop there I just want to clean up. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. All right, let me grab another one. Okay. All right, we'll do the little rail. Okay. Flood the lower portion here. Whoop. Okay, take our wire. Okay. And now release, drop it in. Come on. There we go, and clip. All right, only 2 more of these. And then I imagine we can, we'll probably do, we have this stabilizer to do as well, but then we can move on to actually doing the domes. All right. There we go, that's a little bit better. Really glad I had this stem holder, this really helps. Highly recommend for anyone else looking to do this. Just trying to hang on to this tiny little slider with just your hand while you're doing this would be a nightmare. All right, wire. And clip. Oh, now you might not want to do this for your first time, but I usually, oh, hold on. We'll allow. Sorry about that. You might not want to do this for your first time, but I usually assemble the board with a few screws and just the 2 U's to test the lube job. You already have the 1U sliders in, but yeah, just something to consider in the future. Okay. Yeah, just like I would normally test my stabilizers before building the whole thing. That makes sense. I think what I'll probably do, just to save on time, is just build it and then can potentially get back in there later and adjust some things if need be. Just for time's sake. Whoop, where did my pen go? There it is. If you think that's a viable option. I'm not too, this is my very first one, I'm not too concerned about it being, of there being problems. I could always rebuild it and recalibrate it off stream sometime if I'm upset with it. But I think for today we'll go as is, but that's a great tip. I appreciate that. It makes a lot of sense. Oh, what am I doing? I was just talking about how useful this was. Okay, and drop it in here. All right, come on, drop and clip. Nice. All right, everything is looking as it should be. Just dab on it, a little bit of goosh there. Okay, those are in. Like on every page, do not flip your plate assembly over. Okay, now, I think that's all the steps I can skip. Hard part done. Anyway, that's all the parts I can skip, I believe, due to the dry lubing. So now, Now we have our 2U. So we got those in 2U wire retainers. Oh, this is for an integrated plate. Never mind. Don't need this. Do not need this step. Because there aren't retainers. Wire retainers. So don't need to do that. Same steps for integrated plate. Oh, that's okay. So here we go. Now we just need to lube the stabilizer housings. Oh, this is wires. So we have our stabilizer housings here for the spacebar. So along the sliding rails with 205, under the wire clips with 206. So this is another situation where we're going to flood it under the clip. Okay. And, oh, my music's done. Hold, please. There we go. And clips, cavity where wire exits housing. Makes sense. Only on the side nearest the spacebar, so that makes sense because the wire is going to come in from this way. So we only need to do this side of each one. Okay. So first, completely fill the area under the clip with lube. Let's do that. So that's 206. So the clip is right in the middle. And so it's then that cavity up to the plate. So it's similar to the way we did it on the clips on the 2U. So this just needs to go right in here and completely fill this area, apparently, on each one. Okay. Oh, I guess even more potentially, like up onto the... Completely fill the area under the clip. So even a little more than I was thinking. Really goosh it in there. Okay, I think that's good. Okay. Ba, 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 da, ba. So we did that along the rails with 205. Cavity where wire exits. Okay, so we also need... Fill that. Add a dab on the wall across. So I think for this portion, we can use the 206 pen. For the little bit across from the clip, but add a dab on the wall across from the clip to coat that side of the wire as you press it in. I mean... It's just all lube in there. I think it's going to be okay. But in here is where we'll add some more for sure. On the side, each side of the housing towards the center. Do 206 all down in there. Oop, a little too much. Do a little clean up there. Went a little wild with the lube. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. Riveting stuff. And then along the rails, so in here with 205. So we will break out the 205 pen for this one. All right, let's get some. I feel like you go until you start feeling more resistance. There we go. All right, along the sliding rails. So that kind of covers the whole inside of the rails here, I think. Hopefully my head's not blocking too much. And that goes on both sides of the rails here. Since this is a plastic on plastic portion, use 205. Okay. I need to clean up a little bit of that and get it over there. And clean up a little bit of this that kind of got a little extra gushy. Okay. Got the 205. Next. Parts we need our stab sliders, which we already have here. These little buddies. I'll move them to a gray square so you can actually see them. And then we need the syringe. So we fill the closed loop inside with 206. And then we hook the end of the wire into the loop and lower the sliders into the housing. So it looks like they're going to go vertically. So and go into those housings. So let's use our little stem holder again. And let's go ahead and crack open our wire here, our 7U wire. We just score this. Oh no, there's a pull tab. They thought of everything. Look at that. Good job, guys. All right, so there is our 7U. If I can get it out. Our 7U spacebar wire. I feel like I'm working with Type Plus, a Type Plus stab with this thing. The way it curves around. Okay, so we'll need to flood these and then hook the stabilizer into it. Let me see if I can do this without making a gigantic mess. Maybe what I'll do, I'll move a couple of things here. Let me have a little bit of catcher here. So we're going to flood the loop at the end here with 206 G2 because this is a point where plastic and metal will be making contact. All right, I need to add a little bit more on this side. All right, flooded. Let me see, maybe. Let me take this off and rest it on its side. Woo. And then do the other one, get them both lubed, and then yeesh. Here, zoom in so you can share in my pain. So it's this tiny little loop. And we'll just get in there. Fill it. I want to make sure there's plenty on both sides. Not overfill it. I feel like I'm decorating a cake, honestly. There we go. All right. Just carefully set that down. So a lot of very ginger movements, I feel like. Okay, so now we've got our lubed loop here, and we put this through. We'll release it. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Okay. And now we'll take the other one, put it on the other side. So now, oh, my hand's in the way. But now we have our little buddies on either side. All right, let's zoom back out. And now these will go into the housing. Drop it in, and then we clip it. I've never done any of the lubing the way the build guide does. It should give it a try. I'm curious how you do it. I mean, I know you mentioned a little bit of differences, but... All right, that one's in. That one's in. All right, and now it's going to clip. What would be the hinge the wire toward the flat side and clip it in. All right, let me see the best way to clip this. I'm trying to, I don't want to bend it, but I want to make sure it gets clipped here without spilling every single thing. I just BDZ the wires and 2050 the walls. Honestly, it just seems more messy than the build guide way. All right, let me carefully... All right, there's one side clipped. And the other side clipped. Haha! That wasn't too bad. I was afraid something was going to spring and and all the stuff was going to jump out. Okay. I think we're okay to move on from the lube now. So what did this say? Rational fear. What is this little tip? You can add a little extra lube to the wire where it will contact the clip if you think it will get rubbed off during installation. I mean, sure, why not? Let's add a little... Add a little bit of extra right on top of the clip there, and then we'll... Just for security's sake. All right. Let me set all the lube aside. Very good, very good. I think we're in a good place. Okay, now it's dome time, finally. So they come in strips of 6. Lay domes over the housings until all are covered. Align the cutout on the domes with the tab on the housings. Makes sense? 2U housings will be rotated 90 degrees. All right, let's get some domes. We got domes, baby, domes. And they are not misspelled. It's based on OEMs, so they had a little joke there. I also like that the mediums were red, because even though we won't see them, it'll be fun to go with panels. So this one is a little bit offset, so that'll kind of need its own, right? Oh, they do go fast, though. My goodness, I should just open all of these at once. Woo! A little slip. Slip of the utility knife. Nothing to be afraid of. Okay, we'll need a separate one there. This one will need a trim. Now I think we just snip them with scissors, right? That's the goal. Yep, cut. Well, cover as much as you can with full strips. Well, I'll need that trimmed anyway. There we go. Let's see, get them all out here. You're supposed to be able to just rip them apart, but I'm not, yeah, I don't think I'm brave enough for that either. I don't want to risk that. Oh wait, did I? I never did a 1U slider for the spacebar, did I? Hold on. I'm just realizing now that that doesn't have anything in it. That's no good. That was a great cut. Thank you, Frederick. I appreciate the encouragement. That would have sucked to get to that point and realize the spacebar was missing its slider. There we go. All right, back on track. 2U housings will be rotated. So is the idea like this? Oh yeah, I see it fits right on the notches there. There's notches for the dome to kind of nestle into. That's cool. Let's see. I need 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, so we could do that. I do have enough. Oh, good. I was like, I don't know if there's enough domes, but I do have another box of domes. So I think we'll need all of them, probably. Boop. So many little boxes. Interestingly, some of these tiny boxes that all of this stuff came in will be very handy for dice, for like D&D. I think they could be really handy. All right, we got 4. And let's just split some of these in half to do some of the navigation cluster here. Three. Have you tried stock HHKB before? I have. One that I mean, that's been more so in passing. Things that I've actually used more were, I borrowed an HHKB that was in an aftermarket housing that a friend of mine let me borrow. I think it was a Taycan, like a DNWorks Taycan aftermarket housing. And so that had been modified slightly beyond the housing, like some of the internals had been modified a tiny bit, but I used that for a little bit longer. All right, 4. Got some sets of 2s here. Let me go ahead and... Yeah, it was a nice one. I do want to get an actual HHKB at some point. I just have not pulled the trigger. Let's see, is that a little rumpled? I think that's okay. We don't have any sets of 2 here, so I think we'll just need singles for the rest. Singles night. All right, so 1 here. Okay, so how many more do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Stock Topra is great, just sucks they're incompatible with any of my keycaps. Yeah. I know some people have modded their Topra with DynaCap parts, right? Or other EC MX compatible stuff. come on. All right, so these rotate 90 degrees for the 2Us. I guess that helps them probably stay. Actually, that one's got a weird little flange on it, so let me rotate that way. This one goes here. Okay. And rotate. All right, 2 more. And some domes to spare. Okay, so this 90. Those are for a snack later, yeah. Nom. If I start, I mean, I am feeling a little bit hungry. If I start getting more peckish, just nosh down on some domes. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. I'll leave it in a little bit just to. Whoa. Don't collapse now, boxes. All right, so I think. Make sure everything is straight-ish. And all of the 2Us are rotated. Stay. All right, so now it's springtime, right? Springtime. I got the gold springs, so I am not doing any lube. Yeah, no, it's not right. Very funny. Let's see. So, got springs here. Ouch. Drop springs inside every dome. You got it. That's where we have tweezer time. More riveting content. The springs fit really well into the Dynadomes. Yeah, they do. It's really nice. There's not a lot because there's a little dot right at the bottom that the spring can kind of nest into. So that is really a nice little touch to make sure they're nestled in there. Come on, though. Helps with alignment. I can't imagine how long this would take if I had not already separated my springs. Oh, come on. Oop, come on. Need to hold it. Really gotta babysit some of these springs. Actually, this one looks like it might be a little bit bent on the outside. Let me set that one aside. Like the outer spiral feels like it's pulled away from the form a little bit. To the point I just buy 300 so I can buy 80 loose ones easily. That's smart. If I get more into EC, I might just start buying springs, get some of those storage solutions that Hector mentioned, like a nice little 3D printed thing to keep them all separate in. You know, periodically separate them out, but otherwise have like a bunch of springs kind of ready to go. There you go. Get in there. Zoom in more on the keyboard since that's more interesting than seeing more of the desk right now. Those are great for sure. Sometimes I lube mine with 105 and it reintroduces the tangle. Interesting. It's one of those things where it has to be a better answer, but no clue what it could be. Yeah, I noticed in the build guide it was talking about lubing them. I guess if you're not using the gold-coated ones. Or do you also lube your gold ones as well if you use them? Whoa, almost lost the whole row. I was waiting for the gold ones to come back in stock. It was again with like the... Honestly, that's what I had been waiting for the longest, was like, I gotta wait for the gold springs because I'm not gonna lube all these springs. And then they introduced the pre-lubed housings. Oh, this one just fell right in. I'll just leave it. And I was like, hey, perfect. Two things I don't have to do. Yes, please. Depends on the board and build. Even the gold springs, sometimes there's spring ping. Still better though, typically. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I'm gathering some of this knowledge of like what to keep in mind for the future, or if I want to do a rebuild of like things that I could tweak after the fact. But I think, yeah, for this first attempt, I'm just like going bog standard. Oh, geez. Bog standard build guide approach. Whatever it says goes. That spring is also kind of a little wider at the base. Wonder if that one got a little warped. Should have plenty, but we'll just set it aside in case it's less than ideal. There's bound to be some little malformed bits, considering that they were all tangled together. Tried to be as gentle with them as I could. And not pulling, but, rotating and, like, knocking them around to come apart. Actually, I think it goes a little bit faster to grab them with the tweezers and then just drop them in by hand. See something here. Actually, let me send a message right here. flip it over. There we go. Home stretch, yep. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Oh, this has a little piece of silicon that did not come out between the domes. There we go. I noticed that wasn't sitting totally flush. That one seemed a little bit off at the top. We'll come back to that maybe. Don't want to introduce any unnecessary crunch or anything if I can avoid it. Sticking in a key you don't use, yeah. Well, I should have plenty of springs here that I don't need to. I can avoid some of those potential problem ones. So I think it came with like 120 springs, so. Be nice if I could avoid that for now. There we go. Check. All right, I can take rid of that window. Don't need that anymore. Is that one a little bit wonky? Kind of looks a little bit wonky. No space for wonky springs in this sport. All right, one on the spacebar and then one over here. That should be everybody. Okay, so I think... being careful not to move this too much. I think we have everybody covered. Everybody got domes, everybody got springs. These are for stabilizers, so it doesn't count. Okay. Now, PCB and the screws. We got all our screws here. Our M2 screws. Let me actually remove this. And we'll put them down into our inside of the tray. Whoops, wrong way. Thank you, Frederick. I didn't realize I was muted still. That'll be really great on the VOD. Yes, it is a lot of screws, Uka. I'll just go into some areas where I haven't been before. We can get it nice and tight. Let's see, let's do this other one at the top. Actually, there's two other ones at the very top. There we go. Gotta do the old reverse trick to get it to thread. Okay, let's get some more down on this side. More of the sides in, maybe. How'd you get your hands on a TKL PCB that was in stock? I got it from the UK. I bought it from Thought Exchange because, like you, I couldn't find one anywhere in the US. Because Canon Keys has been out of stock. Couldn't find one on the aftermarket anywhere. So Thought Exchange still has them. And you can get it tariff-free. So that's where I got this one from. I know restocks are coming, but I got tired of waiting. And I really wanted to put panels on it, and since panels just came in, oh, they're sold out there now. Oh, that sucks. Maybe I got one of the last ones. Let's see, I should get another one down in this corner. Come on. Gonna thread correctly. There we go. Well, that's one too, right on the edge. I didn't realize. Hopefully Canon Keys get some soon. Yeah. I agree. It's kind of thrown a wrench into some people's EC plans, I know. Whoa. All right, let's get something in the middle here going. Do that one. We'll do this one. Let's see, is that one? There's not a hole in the plate on that side, so I don't think so. The arrow's pointing to it, but that might be for a different layout. Not a full backspace layout or something. Well, it's interesting that you could use MX style stabilizers with this. I hadn't really noticed that. So not there, but yes here. Yeah, what is that? What is that? Is it navies? The EC parts that work in MX plates and stuff? Oh yeah, the SE and the PCB names mean Stab Edition. Ah, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Close this up. Okay. Navies and also Clever's working on some, top secret enclosures. Interesting. Not so top secret, I guess. But there have been like some hints, some leaks. I'm interested to see what they'll have at KeyCon. If they've got any secret stuff cooking. Apparently people have typed on them at meetups without noticing. Well, I'm curious because there was some secret stuff that they had at Novel Keys last year that they weren't allowed to talk about, but it was in a keyboard and it was like hard to tell what exactly was in there. I think one of them might have been a Hall effect thing they're working on. But I wouldn't be surprised. There was some secret stuff that they weren't taking off keycaps or letting people know too much about. Yeah, they had those as well. Line up. There we go. All right, we still got this one. So many screws. All right, got some more over here as well. There we go. Okay, what do we... Oh, we got that one right there. Through the 2U housing. Good, good. Yes, 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 yes. Nothing down here. That's for stabilizer. Oh, one on the very edge over here, looks like. One right there. Right here. Okay. I think we're good. Double check, double check. Okay. I think we might be covered. Whew. All right. You can flip your plate assembly over after this step. Looky there, looky there. It's alive. It's electrocapacity. I'm noticing a little bit of lube coming through the stabilizer housing there. Ooh. Yeah, baby. Got that EC feel. Not quite the sound yet because it's not in a case, but nice, nice. Feeling good. Okay. Calibrate EC. Yes, for sure. Let me move these. Let me move these other springs over here. Some of the potential duds. Yeah, I've still got a bunch of extra springs over here, so that's great in case something should happen. All right, let me put these tweezers away. All right, let's skip that. Give our mat a little wipe here. Ta-da! Okay. So if we're doing JST, we will need to plop it into here to plug it in to test. But first, I wanted to double check a thing with the... oh, come on. Come on, browser, work with me. Here we go. I wanted to double check the layout here. So I can determine which gaskets I want to use. And which gasket to wear. So, I'm going to go ahead and throw these on. So we have extra gaskets in some Panels-y colors. There isn't a Panels green available, so we were going to stick with blue, red, and yellow. I had yellow gaskets on this already, but I wanted to get some extras just to have some fresh ones that have not seen any action. So I think we'll probably do 2 blues. Since it's 3 on top and 3 on bottom, we can do 2 of each. So we'll do 2. And it's fun, Mike told me on stream that he actually personally fulfilled this order and was guessing that we were doing a Panels build, which was fun. And 2 yellow. Oh, these ones are having a tryst. All right. So in Panels, yellow is definitely more yellow on this side. We got red, arrow keys. So I'm thinking maybe yellow here. Thanks for the follow, Gavot. Hello, hello. We are doing an EC conversion on a classic TKL. And we've done most of the hard bits at this point. I think we definitely want blue down here. So blue, yellow. I think maybe red near the arrow keys, because the arrow keys are red. And then we have red here in the F row and yellow here. I don't know that I want... We also got blue in the middle, so maybe if we stagger these a bit and do like blue here and red here and then yellow over here. So we'll just kind of have everything shifted a tiny bit. That might be kind of nice. So this is what I'll plan on doing for the gaskets in a very Panels-y way. I love EC DynaCap. This is my first time building with it. I've tried out I've used EC boards before, and I've used DynaCap before, like at a meetup, but okay, let's plug it in. So the JST is actually way over here, which is interesting. So it doesn't quite line up the same way. Let's see, pins on the bottom. So like this. I think, whoops, hold on. Is that right? Yeah, it should be. Didn't feel like it was nesting super well, but it is correct. It didn't bend anything. Okay. Let's rest it here. I will need to do something with that JST cable because that's going to bunch up and be kind of weird, I think. Okay. Let's plug it in and see if we can do some calibration. I'm doing it. Okay. Okay, it is plugged in. I think you can move the JST to other positions, but you have to solder and all that. Oh, yeah, that's true. Don't know that I want to mess with that. Okay, so now, plug it in. Go to VIA. So I think for this, let's crack open VIA. Authorize. It's not showing up, which is not a great sign. Let's see if I can do this without a keyboard plugged in. How? Refresh. Okay, now it's just not responding at all. Refresh. Via says no thanks. Uh-oh. All right, let's see. Let's troubleshoot. If it's just Via flaking out, which it does sometimes, I'm not too worried, but... Okay, so that is working. Yes, Pangea, that's working at least. Connect. Okay, so Via is functioning. But it's not showing up in the list, which is not great. Let me see. It came with a JST cable, which might be a little bit of a different length, which might be beneficial for this. So I do have this. So let me give, if something is happening. So this is shorter. So let's see about using that. Double check where the pins are. Okay, pins on the top. Got it. Got it, got it. Hopefully the PCB is not a dud. Or that something got shorted when I took off the integrated port. Nope, still nothing. That is sad. Let's see. That's not good. Well, I might have screwed something up. Maybe look in the JST port, make sure none of the pins are bent. No. They look good. They look good to me. I'm curious about something, actually. I'm wondering, because it does say on the back, like after you break, when you break off the port, it says check for shorts after breaking. And I'm curious if something happened. Because there is a little bit of... a tiny bit of PCB left over here with some metal sticking out. So I'm wondering if something happened there that is causing a problem. I might end up building it anyway, just because I've gotten this far. Hey, it's working! Hold on, hold on. Oh, it was. Hold on. The keyboard assistant thing popped up. All right, I'm going to repurpose this for my Pangea, just so I have a keyboard that actually is doing what it's supposed to right now. So I can... VIA is having a real bear of a time right now, actually cooperating. Or maybe my computer is just freaking out. Because now this isn't working either. Everything is having a bad time. Technology. Technology, not worth it. Man, it's not recognizing shit right now. I think my computer may have given up. Here's what we're going to do. Let us get this working again. Yeah, it just decided to not recognize anything. Oh no, so it's only in my Chromium browser. That is wild. Everything else is working just fine. So maybe it's just the browser's fault. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp just then. Step away from it and come back, disaster. It's because you weren't here, Nana. No, things are working. It's VIA. VIA is freaking out. Okay, now let's try this. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Because it did show up, however briefly, in the keyboard setup assistant. Unless it's something with the JST cable getting mangled. Because it doesn't want to go in super securely there. The power of Nana. Okay, keyboard setup assistant popped up. Your treasure device cannot be identified and will not be usable. Okay. Oh, I'm not trying to identify this. I'm trying to... Weird. So it's trying to do something with this, not with this, even though when I plug this in, it's showing up. Go to use VIA and authorize your PCB. Sure. Sure. But now it's just not doing anything again. VIA! VIA is really a pile of dookie sometimes. Because now when I plug this back in, it like won't recognize anything. So I need to force quit this stupid browser. Was the cable the issue? I don't think so. I think it's VIA. Because now it's not letting me do anything. Okay. We are force quitting our Chromium browser because we have to use a stupid Chromium browser to get VIA to work. All right, so go away VIA. Now we will reopen our Chromium browser. I hate Chromium so much. Okay. Now, it was recognizing something when this kept getting plugged in. Aha! 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 Yes! ECTKL, it recognized it. I don't know what VIA's deal is, but it really hates me sometimes. Okay, we're back in business. We did it! All right, now we look at the guide again. All right, so we plug it in, we authorize it, open the layout options. Layout options menu, select the layout. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Select the layout options that apply. Okay. So we have an F12 row. We have full right shift. We're not splitting backspace or anything. It's a 7 Win key bottom row. Yes, yes, yes. Open the EC Tools menu. Where does that live? Design key tester. Oh, EC Tools, here we go. EC Tools, and click on Calibration. Turn on bottoming calibration and bottom out every key. Okay. Well, bottoming calibration is not an option. Do they mean board calibration? Hit board calibration? Okay. Okay, turned on. So here we go. Is anything supposed to show up when I do it? Or just go through? Nothing's supposed to show up? Okay. I was expecting the usual key tester kind of thing. This really sucks without keycaps. Okay. Then we turn off board calibration. Done. Okay, so anytime I disassemble or reassemble, I'll need to recalibrate, right? That's kind of the deal. Let me start this up. Okay. Can change actuation settings. I'm not going to mess with that. Put it in, finish the build. Okay. Cool. I'm going to tuck that down a little bit more if possible. Okay. Let me get back to plug the Pangea back in for now. If I need it. And let's get rid of Via for now. Man, it's having a hard time recognizing keyboards now. There we go. Come on. I'll deal with that later. Okay, we're back in business. Let's get this thing put back together. And then we can get to the fun part, which is the keycaps. Oh man, look at that. That is fun with the gaskets coming through. Like being able to see, I mean, the bottom's going to be bright yellow, which is great because that's one of the main panels colors too, but like getting some of those multicolored gaskets popping through. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. All right, so we got our case screws here. So get the whole shebang back together. Would have been fun to have, I think I mentioned this earlier, but it would have been fun to have multicolored sliders and housings, but I wanted that dry lube. lined up. I mean, EC and plastic is just a classic combo. Bound to be a good time. And there's something about injection molded boards that I enjoy. Like this, I'm looking forward to the new, speaking of the Pangea Mini IM injection molded. Sounds fun. And it'll be quite affordable too. Clever's doing the bevel. Oh yeah. And Clever's boards are so pretty. If I ever get a giant inheritance from a dead relative, then I'll buy some. But I guess the Clever is, if it's more injection molded, it'll got to be more affordable, right? Well, plus there's the new Novel Keys board that'll be injection molded as well. Okay. Let me make sure that's okay. It felt a little loose to me for a second, but and I love the brass peeking through too. That's really fun. Nice. Okay. Set that aside. Keycap time. If any of you haven't seen it, it's so lovely. The latest key machine, number 12 of 250 on this one. And they worked with Keyrative for some of their packaging instead of the usual Signature Plastics vacuum packed to a sheet of cardboard situation that they have. I mean, they used to do baggies, and now they're doing that, and so this is much preferred. 245, very cool. Yeah, and I love that it's like panels colors on the trays and stuff too. So here, let's tuck this away. Is this working yet again? Weird. Weird, weird. Maybe if I unplug some stuff and get it to behave. I don't know why my inputs just decided to be super confused. They'd never encountered an EC board before, I guess, but I don't know. We must now unite for empty new panels. Yeah, I'm excited to try empty new on this as well, eventually. Oh man, look at that. It's so good. All right, so let me start with the spacebar so I can see how to get these stabs to function the way I want. Now I think I'll do, do I want the green? I think I don't want to do the red spacebar. I think I'll do the greenish one. There we go. There's 7U. Oh, a little schmutz on it. By the time my panels arrives, it'll be a throwback set. That's fun. I think... Interesting sound. Well, space bars are always going to be kind of weird, aren't they? I think we got to do a yo up here. EC is one of those things that is so foreign to me. I can't tell a well-built EC board from a bad-sounding one. I mean, it is an odd sound if you're not used to it, for sure. I think these are sitting up a little bit higher than I'm used to, but that's okay. Let's see. Print, scroll. Ah! Print, scroll, pause. Enzo supports full EC build with an MX stabilizer, like an actual MX switch. Super interesting. Oh! That does sound cool. That's fun. Let me change this. Do 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 do. And our 2U. Maybe a tiny bit of rattle over there. I don't know if that, I don't think that's normal, but it's also okay with me. Hey Fetty, how you doing? So you swap domes, not just try different weights, but also different sounds. Dyna domes sound a lot more airy than the Disc Keys Carry dome. Yeah, so it's kind of like switch material and spring weight in one in a lot of ways, right? Because it's like the strength of the dome also determines how much actuation you need. It is nice that they put, it's essentially all in TKL rows already, which is fun. Nice. I did have it cut with stepped caps though. So, am I blind? There it is. I was like, wait a minute! That would suck. If for some reason there wasn't stepped caps. We will use barred. Because there's only bars, right? Not nipples. Yeah. Or dots. I like the nipples for the home row, typically on DCS, but we'll stick with bars for now. Basically, my question is, other parts can I order to tweak the sound? Other domes for sure will work. For example, Desky's T1 isn't compatible with DynaCap for the most part. Yeah, yeah, I've seen like domes from like Metapulse and some other places that are compatible with DynaCap. People have been swapping them out. That's fun. That is fun. It's such a different feel. The Astrodome city-based gaming would those be a good pickup. Hold on. Oh, I put both B's in. This is not an Alice build. I was like, wait a minute. I really screwed up. There we go. Oh, we do have yellow down here, don't we? Do I want to do blue? I think I do with the blue. So those are not the ones I want. I want, these are like, yeah, I want 1.5. So super, alt, and control, and what do we do over here? Oh, we use yellow over here. Ugh. I like my brain is turned to mush trying to do this. I think we'll turn that into like a function mode switcher. Nice. I'm going to remember this VOD for knowledge later. Spacebar return will get stuck. Interesting. And our arrows. Okay. There we go, folks. Last thing I've been wondering, why are EC boards like a show and such expensive when they come with no internals? Yeah, good question. All right. Let's see. Let's EC even. So we have our lovely electrocapacitive classic TKL with panels, DCS panels and panels matched gaskets. Let's see if the computer will cooperate with me. I might try to open my Chromium browser again. And it's not recognizing this. Jeez Louise. I'll have to troubleshoot that at another time. As to why the it could be an issue with the daughterboard, but I think for now I'll troubleshoot the typing part later. But we'll just do a little bit of a sound check here. Fantastic build, that looks great. Yeah, I mean, there might just be an issue here that I'll just need to adjust. Because I know there were some issues with some of the very first classic TKLs that had problems with the daughterboards. And so it could be a case of that, in which case I could just get a new daughterboard and check that out. But usually plastic case with a bit of room sound the best with EC, but that is preference as well. So let me pause this. So here we go. DCS on a breastplate. We're using the DynaCap medium domes. These are the dry lubed variants. And let's see. It's weird, but I like it. It feels really good. I would say, I'm trying to think of like an MX Spring comparison. I mean, it definitely, you know, has a tactile feel to it because it's a dome. But like in terms of actuation force, like this feels like a sub 50 gram MX Spring to me. Yeah, it feels amazing. It does sound weird if you're not used to EC. MT-New has a weird effect on DynaCap where it actually reduces the scratch. Interesting. I'll have to try that, because I got some MT-New back there. But I'll troubleshoot this and get it working, for sure. But just like, I gotta zoom in so I can get a better thumbnail kind of effect on here. Let me hide some of my stuff. Beep, boop, boop. Like, it looks so fun. And it looks so good. With the panels on panels on panels. I do like it a lot. It'll take a little bit of getting used to, for sure. I think in the case the keycaps are also sitting up a little bit higher. So that changes the typing feel a little bit than when it had the MX inside. But yeah, that's rad. That's super rad. I'm very happy with this. And I think I can troubleshoot the connectivity problems pretty easy. The plate, it's whatever DynaCap recommends, so I guess it's like, what is it, 1.5? Is that right? Let me turn these back on. Yeah, 1.5 millimeters, I believe. Brass. But I'll just need to get my computer to play ball, is the main problem here. But I love it. I love it. I'll figure out why it wasn't typing. I mean, just look at that. Like being able to see through the side, seeing the gaskets, bright yellow bottom. I know it's a little warmer than panels yellow, but that's super fun. All right, so let me get this to actually function. Yeah, whatever it is, whatever VIA did to my computer, it's not wanting to recognize anything anymore. So I don't know that we'll be doing any raids, even if anybody is streaming right now. Just because I can't type. So I might need to restart the whole shebang and get things to function again. But MX sounds weird to you after using EC for a few years? Oh, I bet. This is lovely. Well, if I can get it to cooperate, Shark, I'm going to be bringing this to KeyCon with me. So you can see it there if you want to. Best case you reviewed and both work. Yeah, I think it's probably just like a bus is freaking out or something. So moderators can use the raid command. Well, I don't know that anybody's streaming right now anyway, are they? All the big streams were happening earlier. Oh, no, now it's working. Yeah, I don't see any keyboard people on right now, so not yet. Jump the gun there. Worst case scenario, I have to get used to iOS autocorrect for a while. Yeah. But anyway, we'll probably just end it here. But really, thank you all so much for being here. This was a long one. A fair bit longer than my usual. And in addition to having like a weirdo OBS crash at the beginning, I guess it's just like nothing was going to work exactly correctly today. I mean, the build itself went super smoothly. I mean, like actually all the DynaCap stuff was a dream to work with. It's basically like technology. Like VIA has not been playing ball. OBS has not been playing ball. Oh man, listen. So cool. So weird. I love it. But well, I'll get that sorted and then we'll be back for another stream before too long. But thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your holiday or whatever you're doing today, wherever you are. And see ya.